plaats in de zaal. Ik geef graag het woord aan de volgende expert. Zij was al even in de zaal, maar zij komt nu naar binnen. Maxima Caram. Zij is voorzitter van Proud Nederland. Gaat u gang.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much to the Stat Committee for inviting me. I am Maxima Caram. I am the first sitter of Proud. And just to give you also an idea why I'm here, I am also a human traffic victim. So I know very well how it is to be in that position. And yes, it is traumatizing a lot. And sometimes the workers that work for the government traumatize even more the victims inside of these crisis centers. So if government really are worried about the situation with the human traffic victim, be more human. This is I speak so many, I listen so many people talk about the victim, the human trafficking, the men's handling, and all, and they are people that are in extreme pain, and for sure they will never heal, because what those people do to those persons is terrible. And this is what we really need to educate the client how to recognize when a sex worker is not there because of their own will, and how to educate other sex workers and to make everything more healthy for all the people involved. Now, when I listen people talk about victims, about only women's, and it's not only women that do sex work. Are non-binary people, are transgender persons like me, are non-binary people, and also not all the clients are men. Women also pay for sex. Maybe it's not what we are used to listen, but do you think after so many years of women empowerment and the feminist movement that women do not pay? Come on. This would be very, I have to say it, it would be very naive to think that way. So, as the first sitter of Proud, the Dutch Union of Sex Workers, I am deeply concerned about the proposed relocation of the Red Light District. Recently, the city mayor and other politicians have expressed their desire to move the district to a new location, citing concerns about crime, exploitation, and the vulnerability of women. The new proposed law is not new to us. It is just another law that approaches sex work through the narrow lens of violence and moral judgment, positions the state in the role of a savior, and strips sex workers of their own agency, in effect, dehumanizing us and perpetuating a stigma. We know sex work can be very challenging, but if the government wants to make sex work safe for us and want to combat human trafficking, then listen to our voices. We are the ones best positioned in knowing what is good for ourselves and the expert partners in combating human trafficking. In the last years, Amsterdam City Hall is determined to clean the city and its look, or at least make us feel that we are the garbage bags that nobody wants and must to be exterminated. More than 250 windows were closed and proposed now to close the Red Light District forever and relocate sex workers outside the city in this project called Erotic Center, that from erotic, believe me, don't have nothing. During the last few years, our union has been weakened power due to the external interference from the government, organizations, and moral and religious influences. While we appreciate their concern, we believe that the proposed solution is misguided and will do more harm than good. The Red Light District has been a symbol of Amsterdam for decades, attracting millions of tourists from around the world. It is also a vital hub for sex workers who rely on the district for their livelihood. Moving the district to a new location would not only be a logistical nightmare, but would also put sex workers in danger. The mayor comments. In a recent interview, the mayor of Amsterdam expressed her desire to create an erotic center that has some class and distinction, and isn't a place where only petty criminals and the most vulnerable women gather.
Mrs. Caram, could you please come to an end of your contribution?
Yes, I'm almost in the end.
Thank you very much.
So this makes us feel terrible and only treat us like our work is not valid, our life is not valid, and most of all, our human rights are being disrespectful and violated. I want to finish saying that sex worker rights are human rights. Sex worker rights are women's rights. Sex worker rights are LGBTQ plus rights. So please, you cannot be deciding about our lives without us. So that would be, I think. Thank you.
Can you?
Yes.
Just a moment.
And also, I want to be here open to, is there any question that the audience or the Stat Committee want to ask? Because we never have the opportunity to talk, or maybe we feel so with violence around us that we don't feel comfortable saying that we are sex workers. So maybe this can really contribute to people have a wider knowledge how it is to be a sex worker, and to show them that we are humans like everybody else.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Caram. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please remain for a moment.
Okay.
Please remain for a moment, and my apologies that I introduced you in Dutch. I wasn't aware that you were English speaking. I'm looking at my colleagues of the Commission who would like to raise a question and share it with Mrs. Caram. Gregory Elenbos, GroenLinks.
Thank you for sharing your story, and really brave of you to stand here. And yeah, I want to compliment you on that. Could you explain to us what the sex workers need from politicians like us at the moment?
We need from politicians empathy. That never forget that we can be your sisters, your mothers. Yesterday I received in the social media a message from a guy from Breda, 17 years old, to congratulate me for my brave, to stand up and talk for sex workers, because his mother was kicked out from her house when she was pregnant of him and did sex work to support him. So this shows you that a sex worker can be anyone. And mostly, it's not because sex workers are nymphomaniac people that love sex and go there. It's always motivated because that person have needs that cannot be fulfilled in a procedure, a slow procedure, you know. People say that is easy, that is fast money. That is an easy job, sorry, but it's not, it's fast money. Because of easy, don't have nothing.
Thank you very much. Is there another colleague who would like to table a question? Claudia van Zanten, VVD. I'll keep that in Dutch.
Thank you so much for coming here and telling us your story. I can imagine it's quite daunting to tell your story in front of so many people. Yes. So thank you so much for that. If I understood you correctly, and I also wrote or read your article in the Dutch paper, De Telegraaf, yes. You are saying that an erotic center will only enlarge basically human trafficking. You say it's a yes. very dangerous environment for sex workers to be.
But not for the erotic center, because this will make, first of all, there are only 100, they say 100 the sex worker gonna work there. And what happened with the more than 2,000 that is in the Netherlands? So this is the thing. It will go in the criminalization and illegality. So this is why this will make a huge door for sex trafficking. And of course, talking that most of the sex work mostly don't happen in the red light district. It happens in all the country, and the wall and windows must be the 4% of the sex work of the Netherlands. So mostly are migrants, yes, like me. So when you are working and you know that you are illegal, when a client is violent and abuse you, you know that you cannot go to the police, because then you are going to be deported to a country that, like in most of Latin America, being transsexual or being a sex worker is a synonym of death. They kill you for that. So this is what happens when a sex worker is deported to Latin America, and most a transgender sex worker.
Thank you. Thank you. I see your hand raised by Karen Hirsch, PvdA.
Thank you for sharing your story. It's really brave, and it's, I think, opens a lot of ears and eyes of people to hear what it's like to be a sex worker, and also what it's like to be in human traffic. That it's we cannot imagine, of course. A few speakers before you suggested, because there's a shortage, to say so, of sex workplaces for LGBTQI+ community, to maybe create an area within the current Wallen. So it's concentrated in one place, because now there are only 5, I heard 5 official places for men, and for transgender legally 0.
Yes.
Do you agree that if you create like a corridor or something for LGBTQI+, that would be an improvement? So,
no, I think that will discriminate even more, and we don't need that. What we really have to do, if we really want, and we care and concern about the well-being of sex workers, we don't have to make distinctions about gender, about race, about nothing. We are not taking into account that it's a legal work for everybody. And this must keep like this. We cannot also cover the sun with our hands and deny that all the sex work happen in internet, not in the Wallen. So yes, it's wonderful and it's safe to do it in the Wallen. We are used to that place because there is a net of a community that supports them. I know in cases where men go to the windows and they live from there because, yes, the same people that walk there, when they see a man, they all come with a camera. And I knew about a Dutch teacher that was doing sex work because needed money. And after 2 hours said, sorry, I'm leaving, this is too much exposition. So this is the reality.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that question. Thank you for answering all previous questions. And I see a last question, I guess a short and crisp one. Dirk van Leeuwen, D66.
Thank you for being here, and thank you. I think it's very brave for you to be here and tell us your story. I have one question. You said there is a safety net in the Wallen. So that safety net doesn't exist here, right? It doesn't exist in Zuid. So if you would put it in an erotic center here, that safety net wouldn't exist.
No, you know how you do the safety net? If the government is so concerned about safety, first you start to put up an office of the police in the Wallen, for example, like you can do it here too. This is the safety. That the safety do not come with the police, because even some people that walk in the red light district are not even police. So, and they change it all the time. So how sex workers, you pretend they are going to talk about something so intimate, like sex work and what happened inside the room with a stranger? We rely on the safetiness of the neighborhood, of the neighbors of the Wallen. Those neighbors are the ones that protect us because we became the new normal a long time ago for them.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Caram, for your contribution and for answering all the questions. May I invite you to take your seat again in the room. De volgende